G'day Bambies, Kaleidow here and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be starting a brand new Sims 4 series and it is called The Sims 4 Rewind. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge that I'm going to be doing each week where I will be going back in time with a build. So it's sort of like a renovation series, but it's meant to be a little bit different. There's meant to be a bit of story along with it, and I'm really excited because I love watching all of those videos on YouTube of Dan Bell especially, where people go and do the urban explorations. I especially like the ones where people don't talk much in the videos. Well, I'm going to be talking in these ones, but I like the ones where you more just get to observe what is in these houses that were just tragically left behind, like what stories do these walls hold. And I really have always felt a bit sad when I've seen an abandoned home, and we are going to be renovating, yes, dilapidated and old homes that just have been neglected, I suppose, or left behind, left in the past, and we're just going to have a look-see at what they looked like in their prime and try to recreate that magic, you know, that imagination that I try to think of when I watch these videos on YouTube, and we're going to be doing it all in The Sims 4. So I'm really excited for this. Let me know down below in the comments if you are too, and if you like the idea. It's something that I've had for a very long time, and it's just taken me a while to kind of come forward with it all, because you guys already know, like, I started so many new series. I don't want to put too much on my plate, but this is something that I've been really thinking about and I just really wanted to get into already, you know. So with this one, it is sort of meant to be a 50s, 60s style nuclear family home, and it's very contemporary, I suppose, on the outside, very simple, suburban, I suppose a bit more of an American-styled home. I saw a lot of sort of these like bottom floor houses when I was looking at images of Florida recently, of what the houses were there. They seem to be all on the bottom floor, but it's mainly more based off what I envision like stuff in the 50s to be like, I don't know. And also in my hometown where I come from, there's a lot of old houses sort of in this similar style, a little bit different, bit more of an Aussie spin. But I also was thinking of like you know, the Jetsons, were they called the Jetsons? Oh, the Jepsons, something like that, but they didn't live in a little house, but I was kind of thinking of like back when people would have been watching the Jetsons on television, this would have been the same time. So yeah, there's a lot to rewind in this one. So many plants have grown up. The garden is just totally gone wild. There's grass, vines, bushes, and just out of control weeds all around the place. And we're just slowly bringing it all back to its original state. And it's going to be quite well trimmed, very proper. I believe the people, the family who live here, I think they would have been immigrants and possibly coming to America. I'm not American, but this is just the little tale that I had in my head. But maybe they came to America and they're very proud of this house that they finally have, and they really wanted to make something proud. They wanted to be proud of it, so they really looked after the garden. They wanted to show it off, and it's kind of sad to see the beginning of the video how far it had fallen. But now you guys are getting a little bit of a look at how the garden would have looked. I really, really think it was so well trimmed. Just everything, every weed, they would have like every day, I reckon they would have weeded. Oh gosh, you know those people who like go out into their lawn and like they have the tiny little shovel and they're just like digging out the tiniest little weeds like before they really sprout. Oh gosh, yeah, I reckon they would have been probably similar to that a little bit. But yeah, I really like the facade of the home. I was thinking maybe we should have added a fence and maybe somebody took the fence down over time, but I eventually like kind of got sick of this idea, honestly. So we get rid of the fence and I just decide open field, and it just connects up everyone in the neighborhood. I guess they have all their houses connected or something, but I think it looked a bit nicer that way anyways. And also you did see that a lot of the timber had turned green over time. So I have a feeling that there was a lot of water damage, and because of the water damage, mold and just nasty stuff has started to grow on that, and we've gone ahead and painted it back white how it would have been. And I definitely think that the family here, they would be hard workers. They would have worked 9-to-5 jobs. But they took pride in their objects that they did have, and they obviously would have worked hard to have this gorgeous little home. And it's quite sweet on the inside after we rewind. Right now we're only focusing on the outside. So the inside, there's a lot of little trinkets, and I'm excited to show you guys that because it's something that I kind of want to continue, so then we could kind of bring a bit of more of a story in a sense of actual people, actual Sims living in here. And I love how we have the little car. So we did bring the car out of the garage. Someone had actually left it behind, so it's kind of tragic. I feel so bad when I actually see a abandoned home in real life. It's a really weird, whimsical feeling when you walk into one too. It's just like, it's a bit eerie, very eerie, but it's also like, what happened here? Who are the people who lived in here, and why did they leave? And why has no one kept it like looking good? Like, some of these houses that are abandoned are quite nice, and you can just wonder, like, what if somebody actually looked after it? How nice would it look right now if it had some tender love and care? So yeah, anyways, you guys had a little bit of a sneak peek on the inside there. It is pretty run down. I reckon it did have a lot of graffiti around the place, so obviously teenagers had broken in. I don't know what they would do in there, but they're definitely broken in. Maybe it turned into a bit of a party house, but it's definitely not like a trap house or anything like that at this point. It's just more like, you know, that house on the block that definitely was left behind, and for some reason no one's knocked it down. It's not in bad enough condition to be knocked down, so it's just been left there essentially. So the kitchen, oh, it's definitely worn out. It's such an outdated sort of style too. So I grew up in a pretty old house, so when it comes to designing these homes, I'm really excited because I kind of can go off what I recall in houses that I kind of grew up in, and also like houses that I had been in my hometown. A lot of people had older homes, so I kind of have an idea, and each week I'm going to either be picking one from the gallery, so you guys can actually make your own dilapidated, derelict home for me to renovate, and you can do the hashtag Kaleidow on the gallery so that I'm able to see it, and I'll be choosing either, if I have some of my own ideas, I might do some of my own, but if I see a really cool one from one of you guys, I will definitely check it out, and I may do a video on it and give you a bit of a shout out too. But yeah, so in the inside here, trying to brighten it up a bit. Everything has just gotten very dismal, and you get the sense that the people in here were quite musical. The people who lived here, they liked to entertain, and that's also why they had a big table on the back patio, I suppose you could call it, and there's also a barbecue. And I sort of had it in my head that maybe let's get a snapshot of when they actually were getting ready for maybe some festivities. So I'm not actually sure on the name of the Festival of the Dead. It's a Mexican sort of holiday, which I don't know a lot about, but I really like that the Sims EA have included a lot of those items into the Sims 4, and I think they're really colorful and beautiful, and I was like, you know what, this really goes with the whole style of the home, and I want to give more of a story and essence to it. So I thought, why not give it like a bit of a snapshot in time, and maybe at this moment they were getting ready for some sort of celebration. So we have some things on the back patio out there, like the little skull lady on the table. If you guys could inform me on more about that festival, or that celebration, please let me know, because I would really like to learn about it, and I discussing these things with you guys too, because I'm from Australia and we have different holidays and stuff, and I want to be a bit more worldly, so it would be cool if we could have this open discussion down below. And I'm going for more of an atomic feel when it comes to some of the furniture in here, and especially with the chairs there. I was thinking of the Jetsons. I hope it's called the Jetsons, but it's like 50s, 60s style, and I really like it. It's like contemporary. Everything's sort of gotten brighter. The wallpaper, the furniture, just the whole feel to the place. And I tried to keep a whole bunch of the little figurines that I originally left in the home. So that's also going to be a part of this challenge, where we're going to be having maybe a section where in this one, it was the garage, where someone had shoved a lot of their stuff as much as possible into the garage and locked it up. And I guess that's why the car was able to be so untouched for so long. And we brought out a whole bunch of the figurines and other things, bits and pieces that are hidden away in the garage, and we bring them out and try to find where their original place would have been in the household. And it was really fun making sort of a funky kind of I don't know, just really like this style to the home. Thinking of like a young family in the 50s wanting to move here and stuff. I just think it was really nice. So I definitely think that maybe these people who lived in this home weren't necessarily the first immigrants. Maybe their parents migrated to this place, which is actually in Newcrest, and then they had children, and because of their parents working so hard and the kids working so hard, they're able to get this really nice home. And there's actually only 2 bedrooms, so maybe possibly one of the kids has a girlfriend or a fiance, and they're both quite musical. They like to have celebrations, but I definitely feel like they would be first generation immigrants, which was something that I really tried to keep in mind. And definitely there are some things that look like it's been integration involved, but I feel like the sense of some sort of celebration going on, music and festivities, definitely seems to be a part of their lifestyle, and I just wanted to include that little bit and just do something a bit different. I really like the idea of making homes that have a story, so it's going to be really fun, a bit of a challenge each week where we'll be creating new tales, and that's something that I've really wanted to bring more of to my channel. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you do subscribe so then you get notified. And also, speaking of notifications, you gotta press that bell, guys, to actually be notified. I don't even know what YouTube is doing right now, but it's pretty crazy. But how cute is that little living space looking? And the kitchen too. Like, I know it's very kind of an outdated style, especially with the counters and the little appliances there, the fridge and stuff with the colors, but I think it looks really adorable. It definitely gives a sense of 50s. So now I'm going to get into a little bit more of a sadder part of the video, because I think it's about time we start to talk about what we think would have happened to the people who lived here. So I've already talked a bunch about what I possibly think about how they came to have this lovely home, and now we're seeing that they are indeed getting ready for a child. So they have a simple nursery, which I am rewinding right now, seeing everything that was in there, and they have a little bassinet, so it's all green. I guess the people who lived here really adored the color green, like the whole house is themed green, and which is quite a beautiful color, really. It kind of represents to me new life, and that could actually connect with their ideology and where they come from, like connecting to their past. But I feel a little bit sad when I was building the nursery, because I was thinking, what happened? Like, why did they leave this house? And the way that I was thinking it was, since the father is like a musician and the mother has a little bit more of like a secretary job, that's what I was thinking. Maybe something went wrong with the father's career. So he does have some little trophies here. Here's a little trophy. They also have their 15-year like anniversary of being married, and they have this lonely nursery which is empty. And to me, I feel like this story gets a little bit morbid now, and I think it's more like they kind of just kept aging and aging, kept trying to conceive, and unfortunately, they were not able to have a child, and the lady of the home really wanted to have a kid, and unfortunately at that time they couldn't have one, or they didn't have the money to adopt or something like that, and they never had children. So that's just a little sad part of this tale, is what I was kind of thinking. And there's probably always going to be a little bit of a sad part of these builds, because I feel like there is a sense of tragedy to these homes being left behind. But another reason why I like the idea of making this into a series is because not only do I like telling a tale, and also scary or sad tales are definitely something that are up my alley, but I also want to give homage to different stories. So what I'm going to do is probably watch a bunch of tales of real life homes, and I'll be basing some houses off what happened to other people's. But this one is definitely all fictional, something out of my brain that I just thought up while I was building. And I think it's so sad. They wanted a child. They weren't able to. 15 years of marriage goes by, but they're still very happy, vibrant people. They love to have their celebrations. They invite everyone over. They love having everyone over. Everyone brings their food. They make the whole house smell beautiful with all of these different spices and scents, and everyone's laughing and having fun. But then at the end of the night or the next day, the house is empty and there isn't any laughter. The young relatives or family friends, they all leave, and all of the laughter leaves the home. And even though the house is quite beautiful and light, I do feel there is a bit of a morbid sense of they did want a child and unfortunately could not conceive. So they do surround themselves with life in that sense anyways. This sort of is, I guess, based off one of my neighbors. When I was little, she actually is still alive to this day, but she has a room and she always wanted another daughter or something like that. She does have children, but I used to always go into this room and it had a bassinet in it and it was filled with dolls. So the idea of an empty nursery to me is such a surreal but also a weird memory for me. So building an empty nursery and knowing that the story behind it was that they didn't have children was kind of weird, but also reminiscent for me, because yeah, I used to love going over to my neighbor's house and going in there and looking at all of the beautiful dolls. But it also was like kind of sad because the lady couldn't have children anymore. And I used to think as a kid, like, oh, well, I'm going to come and visit her more often then. Like, she really enjoyed it when I'd go over there and say hello to her. So, yeah, I was one of those kids, guys. I was that annoying little neighbor who would just, like, wander around and say hello to all of the neighbors. Hi, do you have any peanut butter? Do you have any cookies for me today? That was totally me. Oh gosh. But all the neighbors are really sweet anyways. I would have been such an annoying little brat. Oh god, probably not a brat, but you know. So we are coming up to near the end of this build and I think it's absolutely stunning. I really like it. It's quite simple. We also put a little bit of a tray out the front, and I think even though they're getting ready for some sort of festivities and they obviously are quite musical and stuff, maybe one of the people in the house like to bake and they want to sell some of their cupcakes. And I feel like people used to have a lot more yard sales and random little things being sold in their yards back in the day. Like it was just a little bit more common than it is today, and maybe sharing is caring was, I don't know, something that people practiced a bit more, but I thought it was like a nice little touch that I wanted to add to the front there. But yeah, we used up all of the items just about out of the garage, and I'm really happy with it all, guys. I hope you enjoyed this sort of retro build. Here are all of the screenshots, and it's such a charming little house. So each version will be uploaded onto the gallery for you guys. My origin is just Kaleidow. You can find all of that information down below. And you guys can also do the hashtag Kaleidow if you would like to send me over a dilapidated abandoned home that you would like me to renovate. Please keep in mind that I would really love you to maybe think of a story while you're building it, or you can have a garage or a locked room somewhere which is filled with objects that I have to use, that I have to somehow fit into the home and give a bit more of a sense of who the people there are. But yeah, guys, I'm really excited for this series. I think it's going to be really interesting and a bit of a different type of challenge. I haven't seen anyone do this before, and it's been raking my brain for a while, so really excited, and I hope you guys are too. But yeah, I'll see you all below in the comments soon. I love you all to bits, and I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.